Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to take this opportunity to thank you for choosing to be part of our great show. Raila Amolo Odinga, the ODM leader, in less than 1 month, met with the US ambassador to Kenya, Madam Meg Whitman. When you go to Meg Whitman's Twitter page, she said, just in simple terms, that it was a great celebration of the US independence with our friends and partners in Kenya. Then Raila Amolo Odinga had this to say, that Meg Whitman hosted us for a celebration of the upcoming US Independence Day and 60 years of diplomatic celebrations between our relations. Kenya and the United States have a long-standing partnership built on shared ideas. I'm saying it is twice in less than 1 month, because when William Ruto was about to jet out of the country to honor that invitation to visit White House, Raila Amolo Odinga and Madam Ida hosted Meg Whitman in their current home, and they discussed quite a number. And then today, Raila is also posting this, that Meg Whitman hosted them. Apparently, US is celebrating their independence in a few days, and it also coincided with the 60 years of shared and mutual relationship between Kenya and the USA. So Meg Whitman invited Raila Amolo Odinga. Now, apart from the timing, we also realized, I saw Rebecca Miano, who is the Cabinet Secretary for Livestock, and the Chief Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi, was also there. Now, the presence of Mudavadi also caught people's attentions, because it is coming just 2 days after Mudavadi hosted Raila Amolo Odinga in his railways office, where he reiterated President Ruto's UDA government support, unwavering support to his African Union Commission chairmanship bid. And people are asking, is there any political significance to the meeting between Raila Amolo Odinga and Meg Whitman? And the reason they are asking is because Raila Odinga and Meg Whitman, just last year, disagreed in public when Meg Whitman declared that in the history of Kenyan's independence, the last election has been the most honest and the most verifiable and free election, when Raila had maintained that his victory was stolen away, aided by none other than the country that Meg Whitman is representing, the USA. And people are asking, why this sudden change? Why the dalliance now? Because Raila seems to have forgiven Meg Whitman, and they are tagging along. Now, before we look at the political significance, it seems like people are not very happy, and most of them are ODM supporters or Azimio supporters. I got just 3 replies to what Raila had posted, and someone who is called Christine Adika said that this woman messed with our win. Why you keep dining with her and letting us know? I don't understand. And it's not something to excite us. And then there's an emoji there of someone crying. She's not happy. She's saying, this woman messed up with our elections, and now you are posting pictures of you and her together. Someone called Marriage here is saying, baba uko kwa serikali ama uko nje, juu sikuelewi. And then this person also has an emoji of someone who is with tears. So they're saying that they do not understand whether Raila is already working with William Samoei Ruto, or he is independent. He's still in opposition, because of course they were with Mudavadi, and just recently, like I said, Mudavadi promised that the government of Kenya would take over the campaigns. And then Mr. Aaron Musera is saying, the once rogue ambassador in your books, and he just left it like that. So people are not very happy about the meeting between Raila there's another person who's saying she is a poll thief. Basically, this person believes that this is the person who messed up our election. Now, is there any significance, any political significance, why these people keep on meeting? Why Raila Odinga has forgiven Meg Whitman? Because I want to reiterate, in every video that I've done about Raila Odinga, I will never fail to mention Raila's nature of being a statesman, Raila's nature of being magnanimous, working with his enemies. And our enemies have taken advantage of this. They exploit that very attribute of Raila's nature of being, of forgiving those who have wronged him. But then I want us to look at only three significance of this kind of meeting. The reason why there is a sudden change of heart. By now, if you've been following world's politics and Kenya's politics, you will realize that the people who forced Raila Odinga to abandon his street demonstrations with the Azimio supporters are none other than the Western countries, led by US Joe Biden. And you know that Joe Biden sent Chris Coons, the Delaware senator, who came to broker a peace deal between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. William Ruto was forced to accept that deal. Raila was forced to accept that deal. And in that deal, experts believe that Raila was persuaded to go and seek for an AU commission seat. Raila has since said that his friends convinced him to go there. And it seems the US government promised to be part and parcel of that cause. On Raila's part, Raila was supposed to call for a ceasefire to stop the demonstrations and let William Ruto, in quotes, implement his agenda that he promised the people. If you look at Raila, Raila has obeyed his side of the bargain because he removed people from the street. He has let William Ruto work on his own, and Ruto's weaknesses are beginning, to come out. This is why they are busy fighting each other. Now, on Meg Whitman's part or the US part, they still have to convince Raila that they are supporting this. In fact, it is the reason why we had the NADCO meeting in Bomas, where Kalonzo was representing the opposition and Kimani Chungwa was representing the government. So this meeting is following up on the meeting that they had before William Ruto went to the USA. And it is to, assure Raila Odinga of their unwavering support to that commission, the African Union seat. And when they meet, I know they're telling Raila, you have obeyed your part of the bargain. Now it is us, and we want to reassure you that we are still with you on this course. When the government reiterated their support and said they will form a secretariat that will translate Raila's documents into 5 languages, and they said they will oil that campaign. That money, if you ask me, is going to come from the US because they are the country that told Raila, stop what you are doing, go for the African Union Commission. So I believe it is about the African Union Commission and their commitment and the ceasefire that Raila brought to the country, because US has got a lot to lose when people are fighting in this country. Number 2, contained in that ceasefire deal was the NADCO, as I've said. And NADCO came up with certain issues that were supposed to be implemented. That report is supposed to be discussed and passed in Parliament. And if it fails, several things are going to fail. When William Ruto was campaigning, he went to Chatham House. And while there, he gave them the kind of government that he wanted, led by a president and a deputy, and then there would be, William Ruto promised, there would be the office of official opposition leader, office of prime minister, and all that. And in the NADCO report, all these are contained. Mudavadi is leading this cause because he needs that office. In the NADCO report, its implementation will ensure that Mudavadi has an official office. Mudavadi is now being called chief minister, which is not in the constitution. We need to, or Mudavadi really would wish that his office is entrenched into the constitution and known as a prime minister's office. So that NADCO report is very important to the US, very important to William Samuel Ruto. And that is the reason why Raila was called, to ensure that his side accept that NADCO report. Already people like Eugene Wamalwa rejected it. Uhuru Kenyatta, Martha Karua rejected it because they're saying it did not contain the will of the people, especially the cost of living. And the people from Central had hoped that there would be 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote in that report so that it is discussed and passed in totality. So the NADCO report forms part of this meeting. Number 3, it is about to convince Raila in the wake of the biggest discussion about the 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote, about the unity in Mount Kenya, and the biggest elephant in the room is the Finance Bill 2024 that has divided the country in the middle. When an opinion poll was done by Infotrack, it revealed that 87% of Kenyans do not want this bill. And so it is meant to talk to Raila to allow the country to be at peace. Because if Raila would decide today, with the kind of agitation that is going on and the tension in the country, and he wakes up and says, kama itaendelea hivyo, then we will go back to the streets to protest against the finance bill, because that is what he did when they were protesting against the finance bill 2023. They went to the street and the country is tensed. If Raila would go to the street or would whisper something to the effect that we will reject, we will go back to the street, it will be firestorm within the country. And this is the kind of fire that they don't want to lit. So it is about to, talk to Raila so that Raila can maintain his peace. If there's anything that will be done, let the other people take over. I also believe that it is meant to honor Raila Amolo Odinga. Leaders always love to be recognized. When there is a national celebration, when there is a holiday, you will see them being recognized. You will see them being invited. Yesterday, when William Ruto was celebrating with the KDF in Isili, you saw him meeting the retired generals. Because leaders always have a place in this country. So when you invite Raila, then you still show him that you recognize him, you respect him. And that's why they invited Raila Amolo Odinga. Someone is asking, where was Kalonzo, Martha Karua, or those? This was an invitation to Raila Amolo Odinga. And if you've watched Raila, he's been trying to slowly keep off the politics of Azimio, and is giving that opportunity to people like Martha Karua to lead the cause of trying to check the government. So this was supposed to just honor Raila Amolo Odinga as a leader. I think it is quite in order when even a retired president would be invited. Sometimes when there is a keynote speech, he will be invited. That's why Uhuru Kenyatta is still being invited when there is a poll somewhere, like there was in Congo. He led the African Union to be observers as they observe that election. And lastly, this is to show the nation and the world that now there is peace within the country, especially now that Raila wants to go for the African Union Commission. It is to show that Raila has forgiven people like Meg Whitman and the US that he accused of taking his victory, so that as he goes to for that seat, they have sanitized him. The tag of Raila being bothersome to William Ruto's presidency is gone. And so they want to give us this picture that the country is at peace. In fact, the only people who are now wreaking havoc and mayhem in the country is this UDA itself, the government, because the deputy and the president are not reading from the same page. And that is what I feel about the meeting between Meg Whitman and Raila Amolo Odinga. What do you think? What do you make out of the meeting?